Good morning and happy Friday! We made it another week, yeah! So my name is Jen Bailey. I'm a VSG athlete, and this week I wanted to go over the updated weight loss surgery guidelines, and just kind of talk about that in a little bit. I'll go over some info on like what the guidelines were with me. I just missed the new set, but that's where we were at with my surgery for a second. Sorry, I've got my Bebedel Karma down here. He might jump up on the couch with me later. We shall see. That'll be a whole lint roller's worth of sheets. Good times. So first, let's go over what is WLS. If you watched last or a couple weeks ago live stream, WLS is an acronym for weight loss surgery. So if I say WLS, that's what I mean with it. Weight loss surgery can be gastric bypass, gastric sleeve, or sleeve gastrectomy, otherwise known as VSG, which is what I had, or adjustable banding. So let's get into this chunk of info. I am like a info nerd, so I'll throw some fun facts in here. But there are some crazy cool things that I came across, and let's see real quick. My husband Anthony, yay for lint rollers. We love them in this house. Our dog has. It doesn't seem like long hair, but it's kind of long and it falls out. It's not really fur. It's like people hair. It's weird. But anyhow, yes, hooray for lint rollers. All right. Back to, hi. Hello. All right. And we're up. We're up. Don't mind us, a little, technical shenanigans. We're good? You're set? Okay, all is well now. So the last time these guidelines were, the first time they're actually set was in 1991, and that was by the National Institute of Health. Their consensus statement on bariatric surgery was confined to patients with a BMI of at least 40 or a BMI of 35 or more, and at least one obesity-related condition, which would be either hypertension or heart disease. Those were the only two that they put in. Hold on. Am I there? Am I back? What the heck?
There you are.
Okay. Okay, we're good. I don't know. It's too early for this nonsense. We can't. Let's have a sip of coffee. Decaf. We'll get back to it. I blame Karma. No, I don't. He did nothing. Okay. So BMI, body mass index, it was either at least a 40 or 35 or more, and one obesity related condition, hypertension or heart disease. So surprisingly, those were the only two, but back then, maybe that's all there was. Those were the bigger issues, and those are the only things they put in it. Diabetes was not included in this guideline or requirement to have surgery. Again, surgery was, fairly new back then. So shocking, but I guess there wasn't that much of it. So fast forward 30 years, about 31 years, and they decided that these guidelines needed to be adjusted. So I'll go over who these people are. So they have their own acronyms. ASMBS, which is American Society for Metabolic and Bariatric Surgery, and IFSO, which they are missing a couple letters, but who am I? This is their acronym. So International Federation for the Surgery of Obesity and Metabolic Disorders. So these people came together and decided, hey, we have to update these things. They're two groups of surgeons that represent 72 countries. Like, who knew? So that was a little fun fact I thought I'd throw in there. But yeah, all of these people came together and they're like, hey, we're beyond that. They actually said that the previous standards are out of date and inadequate to cope with America's growing levels of obesity. Truth bomb, kind of sad fun fact of where we are and where we're going. I was definitely one of them. I was hand to mouth with all the wrong things, and from that, I needed the surgery. I did try my ways of different diets and exercises, and even when I was running, when I was a lot heavier, it wasn't working for me. So this statement is true, like it or not. Yeah. So they, also, just like the old, the new guidelines are based on body mass index, which is a measure of weight versus height. So BMI. If someone wants to do the math, because I did forget to do this and I don't remember what mine was, but when I started or when I got my surgery, I was 238 pounds and I am a towering 5 feet 2 inches tall. So not sure what my BMI was, but we'll see where I land in that. Obviously that I was in the range, and I wasn't diagnosed with hypertension, but I did have like, the high blood pressure. Like I would, even with stress or anything, like everything would get super puffy. I'd get the crazy headaches, and that was just my version of it. But I fit the bill for these old 30-year-ago guidelines. So that's how I got my surgery. It just kind of worked that way for me. And then, it was in the middle of COVID. So they actually, when I was getting set up for it, one of the things was obese people, I guess, are more susceptible to getting it, which is whatever. So, yeah, check that box. The new guidelines, they just came into place last year, actually a year ago, and it made everything a little, like it kind of threw out the net a little bigger for people. So in October of 2022, and I think it was actually like October 21st is when they first did the whole press release, and these are the new guidelines. So they state that anyone with a BMI over 35 should be considered for surgery, whether or not they have health problems. So because things have changed, we don't have to gauge it off of those two old things now. You can just have this BMI of the bigger chunk, but still be somewhat healthy, because there's very thin people that have low BMI but have like high cholesterol, or they're diabetic, or they have hypertension, or, you know, all of these things. So everything, there's so much has changed, not everything, but so much has changed over those 30 years. So these are the new guidelines. They still go by BMI, but they've actually adjusted the numbers a bit. People whose BMI tops 30 should also be considered if they have not been able to achieve significant or long-lasting weight loss, and that's, you know, without surgery. So like me, I've tried things, I've done things, it didn't work for me. My thyroid's trying to give up on life anyways, so I have hypothyroidism, I have things that are already, it's just not happening. Even though I was trying, I did different diets, like many people do. We try different fad diets to see what's gonna stick, what's gonna help. For me, keto was one that did help a lot, but I couldn't continue to eat like meat, eggs, and cheese. That, you know, it doesn't work for my body. Even though like hot wings were delicious and Coke Zero was delicious, but the carbonation doesn't help your stomach any. And then I decided to become a vegetarian, more so when I, you know, really checked out my baby dog. And look at that. How can I do that with these big old brown eyes? You just boop, boop. So that's when I chose to be vegetarian, like a few years in really researching it and all that. Anyhow, those are the newest guidelines, and along with a few other things. So, fun fact, next one. The 30 BMI is the official definition of obesity. I should have checked to see what it was back then, 30 years ago, but this is the newest one. So if you're at 30, that's what it is. Some of us carry it well, where 30 BMI doesn't seem like we're chunky or anything like that. So it's just their technical definition of it. Even now, my height and weight, like I am on the cusp of being in the overweight range, and you know, I don't let it get to my head of like, oh my gosh, I'm back. I know where my body is, I know where I'm going, and I know where I started. So personally, I'm not going to let these numbers and these kind of like labels be all crazy strict in my head. Like I'm headed into obesity. I'm not. I'm creeping out of it and doing the things that I should, and you know, just trying to feed my body what it needs. And I've already lived that other life. I don't need that. So next bit of info. They added this in this new set last year. So Asian individuals should consider weight loss surgery beginning at the BMI of 27.5 because they often have weight-related health problems starting at a lower body mass. So they've done these studies and decided this is their threshold for it. Surprising, like, apparently they're doing all kinds of studies and things. So I think that's great. You know, if that's what's going to help, then absolutely. Oh, this one was like kind of crazy, but kind of understandable with what we see out there. Children and adolescents with severe obesity are also eligible for surgery under this new criteria. So again, this was added in 30 years later, and you know, we just go back to where is this? Previous standard. Yeah, this. So the standards are out of date, inadequate to cope with America's growing levels of obesity. Bam. That's, I mean, we see it. We all see it. So it's not something that we want for our kids, but it's out there, and, you know, just, we got to help them as best as we can. But it's not to say that, you know, if your baby is a little chunky, then like, that's it, go get them surgery. No, these are like big cases for the kids. So, you know, if there's something like real out of hand, then obviously the doctors and specialists are going to take all of this stuff into account and go from there. I don't think I have, no, I don't have it in here, but I did read a little blurb when researching, and it said that even some of the children that have had the surgery, the adolescents that have had this surgery, do a lot better over the long run than adults, you know, 40, 50-year-olds that have the surgery. It just, because they're young, they're still growing. They don't have this lifetime of like bad habits and things already ingrained in them that they have to break. It's just like, okay, yeah, it's a little struggle for them, but they end up doing a lot better than us adults. So I think that is good, and that there is, you know, hope in that. So back to the surgeries, the 2 laparoscopic procedures, gastric sleeve or sleeve gastrectomy, and the Roux-en-Y, which is gastric bypass, where they noodle and reroute guts and all that. Those account for about 90% of all operations performed worldwide. So that's where these obesity levels are. We're up there. Yeah. But it happens. And yeah, let's try and help ourselves and our kids be better. But if any case, the surgeries, those are the ones, the way to go. So new guidelines further state that metabolic and bariatric surgery is currently the most effective evidence-based treatment for obesity across all BMI classes. So no matter what, if you're at 27.5 or you're at 51, whatever, and further from there, again, they've done their research and over these 30 years enough to adjust these guidelines, add in some new, broader requirements, and have come out with this info. So yeah, the surgery, the laparoscopic, easy peasy. It's not like before. They don't have to, split you in half, adjust things, all of that. Don't like my couch. It's gross. It's a better way to go. So if you're able to and your insurance allows it, then absolutely, if it's an option for you, I couldn't push it enough, I guess, for lack of better words. I think it's a great resource. It's a great tool. But yeah, that's where we're at. So after 31 years of seeing this, of seeing the obesity rates, of doing all the research on that, they decided, we're going to adjust the BMI and kind of make this a little bigger because of the rates, and with kids and adolescents being added in there as well. So I think that's a good thing. But also, we have to, as humans, we have to do our due diligence and choose better options. Obviously, we're going to snack. We're going to have some things. We're going to have some cheesecake. We're going to have some chips from time to time. We're not going to cut ourselves off from that stuff, right? Right. We're not going to do that. It's just, I don't think that would be a good life to live. But, you know, 95% of it, we're going to choose better options. For me, especially after the surgery, because it made such a huge difference. And I know the life I had before that, and I don't want to go back to that, because I do love what I'm capable of doing now and the way my body feels, even with the loose skin. I wouldn't change that. So yeah, that's the updates. If you want to follow along, if you're nosy, if you wanted to check me out, see how my life is, what's going on, who I am, stuff that I'm doing. My baby dog Karma, sometimes he tags me in his own Instagram. I'm on Instagram as Jen_Bailey17. The 17 is because that's the year I got married and turned into a Bailey. Oh, my anniversary is next Friday. Yay! So 6 years. It feels like forever in a great way. So I don't know. Maybe instead of coffee, I'll have not orange juice because it's too sugary. It'll be coffee, decaf. Okay. And on Strava. So Strava's a free app that shows the different activities. Every time I do something, like my Garmin will connect to it. And again, be nosy. You can see, it might show my heart rate. It shows some of my routes. But yeah, you can, if you want to be real nosy, I think you can go on there and track my progress for yourself. You can be like, oh girl, she was like not doing it here or whatever, whether it was an injury or I was just busy or I had a migraine or I was being lazy, who knows? Or you can see the other progress of me like moving on up. Yeah, check out that cool stuff. You can give little kudos on there, put a comment. I will comment back. You can always DM me if you have questions or anything in Instagram, or comment here on YouTube. I will go into those. But yeah, I have 8 miles to do tomorrow morning. Super excited about that. Running with the group. It should be really fun. Fairly easy, I think. I don't think we're doing hill work. And we'll do a little pre-Halloween celebration. But I hope you have an amazing weekend. Do all the good things. Have lots of fun. And yeah, spend time with the ones you care about most if you can. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate this. I hope this was useful to you. I am like a fun fact nerd, so I'll try and throw more in. Sometimes they're silly, sometimes they're just like fun facts. Sometimes they're semi-serious, but all in all, we're here to learn. I'm here to help with my story as best as I can, help you on your journey. So yeah. Thank you again for the kind comments and questions. I love you mucho. So until next Friday, anniversary day, I am sending light, love, and happiness. See you later.